results of the last 5 years, isn't it? It might be. There have been a couple of really heavy whoppers.
Probably is a line out ball. So is Da Vinci Code. You've got to try and crack it.
Come on, Brad. I had an only a New Zealand moment a few years ago when Bill English was Prime Minister.
Yeah.
He was here for traditional watching his son play for Town. And after the game, one of the doctors called him over to chat with him.
All right, we're good to go.
And
all right. Tēnā koutou katoa, no mai, haere mai, and welcome to St Patrick's College Silverstream for this semi-final of the Tranzit Coachline's First 15 Premiership. It's the home side, St Pat's Silverstream, taking on the might of Rongotai College. Rongotai last week getting 5 points against Wairarapa College and booked their place in the semi-final and knocking out Scott St Bernard to Hibs to be here this afternoon. Silverstream this season have been relatively dominant with a rather minor hiccup against St Pat's Town 3 weeks ago. But semi-finals, they've been here before and they've been in the finals a lot in the last decade. And someone who knows all about coaching Silverstream rugby is the Mayor of Upper Hutt, Wayne Guppy. Wayne, great to have you joining the coverage this afternoon.
Yeah, and it's great to be here because, I mean, this is what the young men play for, this semi-final, finals time. And I was saying to someone yesterday, if you really want to go and watch what rugby's all about, you get down and watch First 15 when you get to the stage of the competition because, as I say, it's what they play for, and these are the talent, these are the young men that you'll see in a couple of years' time that are coming through playing not only provincial rugby but also going into the professional league.
Rongotai College have come out onto the field, and someone that knows all about his former school, Rongotai College, old boy from till 2002, is Tui Tuli'i. Tui, great to have you on the broadcast. Tell us about Rongotai this season.
Well, they've come back from a pretty poor 2020-21, mate, and they've come back firing there, new coaching staff and all that. It's been great. Good to see two of the most traditional schools there, Guppy. You know, it's I guess you'd say normal order's restored in the top four now. So look, we're in for a good game. We're seeing in for a good game, mate. Mate, coin toss today. It's 0-0, and hopefully we'll go for. Hopefully we see a blue-black-yellow victory today. So yeah, thanks, Carl.
Silverstream being led out onto the field by their captain, Toby Mallon. Strong leadership in the 2 jersey this year. Our officials for this afternoon, Steve Newson is the referee. He refereed the semi-final between Silverstream and Wellington College last year. That was won right on full time with a kick to Emmanuel Solomona, and he'll be ably assisted by Zinni McCormick and John Treblanche. As both teams go into their final huddles, and Rongotai College, big upset win over Wellington College in the regular season on traditional day. And what was the keys to that victory that afternoon, Tui?
Yeah, sloppy conditions there. It doesn't help Rongotai without their... I mean, they're a free-flowing team there, but big improvements in the forward pack there that since game one of the season there. Mate, it'll be a big forwards game as well because we've had a massive amounts of rain there. It's almost flooded the whole city, but look, it's dried out. We've had a great city. There's snow on the top of the hill, mate. It'll be a big forward battle, I reckon. The backs will play a part in it. Probably a minor part compared to it, but I could be wrong.
Well, Wayne, this field, it looks picture perfect, but underneath it is extremely heavy, and this will probably be decided by the forwards this afternoon.
Yeah, but you know this grain drowns well because I mean we're on that river plain and it drains. It's not far through to the Hutt River, so it does drain well. But yeah, and the wind will have an impact here too. We've got a wind blowing, quite a reasonable breeze. It's blowing from the south, just straight up and down the field. So Stream look like they have the wind in the first half and they'll want to use it. They'll want to get down there early and get points on because it's probably a 10-12 point wind.
We'll also be bringing you live updates of the other semi-final. That is between St Pat's Town and Wellington College. That's 2 versus 3 on the table. But our main priority is this semi-final. 1 versus 4. Can Rongotai cause an almighty upset? Or will Silverstream book their place in the semi-finals for another year? Steve Newson gets this match underway, and Emmanuel Solomona, the dynamic midfielder, gets play underway, and it goes right into the hands, and it's an early fumble. And unfortunately for FAFC Whaavai, an uncharacteristic mistake, but he's had a strong season, the captain. He has been real dynamic this year.
Yeah, mate, he'll definitely tackle anything he leads from the front there, mate. an uncharacteristic mistake there, but semi-final, it's nerves, it's... I always say the team that panics less will win the semi-final, mate, but hey, they're just going to have to get rid of it. Start again, mate.
First scrum of the match. Silverstream's scrum this season has been almighty dominant and powerful. And Ollie Cuff, the halfback, has been the reliable goal kicker for the side, and he will pass the ball out to Maui Winatana Patasilo. Skips in front into the hands of David Tokolatawa, who's been playing mostly fullback this season, and it comes out to the wing to CJ Harawira. They're 5 away from the line. Silverstream looking to score the opening points of the semi-final. Rongotai push them out for now. A good charge by Sinelli. He's just a metre short of the line. Cuff out to Emmanuel Solomona. Darts, slams the ball onto the ground. And it is 5-0 to Silverstream in the opening 2 minutes.
Well, if a coach, that's exactly what a coach would want to start when you go into these semi-finals game. And the Stream team were obviously kick deep, and it was obviously a mistake made by the first 5-8 from Rongotai. But then they really used their backs, created width, and then brought the big men in, coming back 1 out and then 2 out. But certainly, that's how you play semi-final rugby.
Ollie Cuff with the conversion attempt. Let's have a look at the rosters, since we didn't get those done at the start of the match. Jacob Denia is the fullback. The wings are David Tokolatawa and CJ Harawira. Midfield is Emmanuel Solomona and Vincent Falaniko. First 5 is Maori Winatana Patasilo. Ollie Cuff, the halfback, at 9. Brandon Soy, Connor Tuivao and Patrick Solomona are the flanks. The locks are Tavis Polglaze and Connor Vlas. In the front row is Sino Sinelli, Toby Mellon and Ben Kershaw. And for Rongotai this afternoon, their fullback is Tane Robinson. Their wings are Taulongo and Va'atui. Midfield is Setu Va'avai and Anesi Tui Leipa. First 5 is Afa Ese Va'avai. Halfback is Sila Va'avai. 8 is Pharrell Gray. 7 is Ryan Tuma'ai. 6 is Mehana Roberts. The conversion successful by Ollie Cuff. So the score now is 7-0. Finishing the Rongotai roster, Zach Cornell, David Tauipu, and the front row is goalie Akuso Lolo and Meturiki. Quick start by Silverstream, but Rongotai with the restart here, Tui, and what's their plans here at this restart?
Well, they'll have to just start again, mate. It's a typical rugby cliche, and Guppy's right, mate. Mistake there by Rongotai, and they just capitalise and cut our throats open, mate, and they're just going to have to just shake that off, mate. Treat it as a scoreboard nil all. But they, The
restart into the hands of Emmanuel Solomona, who decides to kick this ball into touch, and that is an almighty punt that has travelled well over halfway, and that will be a line out to Rongotai, roughly about 7 metres back inside their own half on the Redwood Building touchline here at Silverstream. These two teams met in the middle of the regular season on traditional day here at Silverstream. It was 27 points to 3 to Silverstream that afternoon. Rongotai last won here at Silverstream in 2006. They won here 2 times in the regular season and also in a quarter-final, which meant that Silverstream, for the first time in a long time, Wayne Guppy had to re-qualify for the following season, as he has knocked on, not straight at the line out there. So Rongotai, it's been a long time between drinks since they won out here at Silverstream, but back in 2019, they actually caused a massive upset at Rongotai, beating them 10 points to 5.
Yeah, look, what we're seeing here is that the Rongotai team just need to settle down, because Stream are very intent. Obviously, they're going to play field position. They're very disciplined. What we've seen on that first few minutes, from the kick-off, they kicked it deep again to get parity, and then Rongotai again made a mistake with the line out. So you don't make mistakes. If you want to go to the final, you can't afford to make mistakes.
Pasalosio at acting half out to Sinelli, the charging forward, who's in his third year in the first 15. He's probably one for Representative Honours later on. That's a good offload from Solomona out to Falaniko, and this is a good run right down that left-hand side of the field again for Silverstream, but there has been a knock-on, and so Rongotai survive another scare inside. But we just seem to have a bit of disagreements between some of the players.
Yeah, They're smashing that left edge again, mate. They're just smashing it. Remind me of the Melbourne Storm. They're just smashing that left edge, and then they come back right under the post, mate. What Rongotai got to do is start guarding up on that left edge, because you know where they're going to go. It's like, it's like a silhouette, mate. It's just like a dance, mate. They're going to hit the middle, hit the sides, and then come back to the middle again. And if Rongotai just don't panic in defence, they will stay in the game as long as it might stay 7-0 the whole game. Until then, they're just going to not panic, stay their line, and they'll be all right.
Of course, earlier in the day, your under-15 side took on Silverstream, and unfortunately, you just fell short in that semi-final against the Silverstream under-15 team.
Well, I mean, full credit to Silverstream, mate. I can't fault them. They're the minor premiers, and they were minor premiers in 4 grades, I believe, and that's full credit to Tim Mannix and his team. But that's not to take away anything from our boys there. We've got a good rugby program now, headed by Jeff Hall and all that, and we've got a good coaching staff, mate. It's an achievement now that we've made all semi-finals. In fact, all 3 Rongotai teams were in the semi-finals. One of them made it, so, so we won't crack the champagne yet, but we'll crack it pretty soon, so, yeah.
It's been a fantastic year for Rongotai College rugby when they beat Wellington College in their traditional 25 points to 24. It was known on the Club Rugby website. That one is for Dave Mecklin, who sadly passed away at the start of the year, a real legend in Wellington rugby, but also in the Rongotai and Oriental Rongotai community. There's a big push from Silverstream. Scrum has been charged down, and this could be a try. It is! And it's that pink headgear of Connor Tuival. It was a slow pass back into the northern end goal, and it was charged down, and Silverstream pounce.
Yeah, well, what we've seen is actually, you've got to do your set pieces well. What we've complete opposite to what we've seen in the All Blacks over the last couple of weeks. But Silverstream, their line out, they put pressure on that early line out that Rongotai then threw crooked, and then that scrum, a very, very good scrum. They put real pressure on it, and of course, going forward. They were pretty flat, Rongotai, and they were a target for that for the charge down.
100% Guppy, mate. I mean, again, we've just got to delete that now. I think we're into our shell, mate. Rongotai's best rugby is getting out of his shell, play Rongotai rugby, and try and loosen up, mate. And that's and until that happens, it's going to be a very long day for Rongotai. But I have faith in the coaching staff that they will tell them that, and that's probably what Fali Sever and Leo Matarika are probably telling the boys now, just to relax. You're here now and just have some fun, mate.
Sorry, in contrary, for Silverstream, they'll be having to say, don't let up now, because it's they got early on in the game, they've gone up now potentially, and they can start to make mistakes. Up until now, they haven't, but that's what the coaching staff will be saying to them. You just need to keep doing what you're doing.
Holly Cuff. Another conversion attempt. His first one was successful. This one not so. So the score will remain 12-0 in this semi-final. It's been a strong start by Silverstream in this opening 10 minutes. Only 8 minutes has been played so far in the other semi-final. It is 5-5 between St. Pat's Town and Wellington College. Wellington College just scoring their first try. So expect that game to go down to the wire between Town and Wellington College. There's no love lost between those two, particularly when they...
I think St. Pat's Town probably just edge them out. There'll be a tight game. It'll probably come down to extra time, I think, maybe if there still is extra time there. But Bondi, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to use his pack there. And, yeah, so...
Solomona with an almighty punt back down the field, and that has gone into touch, but it's been thrown in by Gray. And here's an opportunity for Rongotai College. Vai kicks it down. It's been well taken there by Jacob Denya, who made his return from injury against Silverstream 3 weeks ago. And that has gone out on the full. A mistake by Denya, and so a perfect opportunity here for Rongotai College. They will have a line out 15 metres away from the southern 22. And unfortunately, we've seen now he's probably trying to go for that 50-22, and he's just overcooked it, Wayne.
Yeah, but you can see the intent there. It's a very controlled, organised game that Stream are trying to obviously playing, and they obviously with that bit of breeze behind that we talked about was probably about a 12-pointer. That breeze, they're looking to play down there in that Rongotai area, camp themselves down there, and then get their big men into the game. Roll. But certainly they're very disciplined at the moment, looking for field position.
Rongotai's not a very scripted team. They're a team that plays on the cuff. They're very... I mean, if Fiji had a 15-a-side team, it'd be Rongotai. I mean, like, they just... And here they come now. They'll start hitting middle, and they'll probably just bang it right there. And it's great stuff.
Rongotai centre field, 12 inside Silverstream's half. Good charge here, this time by Braden Goley. Strong season as the prop for Rongotai College. They take it through their back line again. And it's a solid met tackle there. That time by Toby Mallon, the captain for Silverstream. Rongotai being pushed back 7 metres back inside Silverstream territory. Falaniko with a slow tackle. Questionable to see if there was an arm in that tackle. Sila Fa'avai with the throw. Good wraparound tackle then by Mallon. He's everywhere at the moment as the dynamic hooker for Silverstream. They take it through their back line again. Here goes Meturiki. Rumbles forward, but Silverstream keep pushing Rongotai back. They're now being pushed back inside their own half. They've got to try and break here, Rongotai College. Cornell with the charge, but it has been knocked on. And that suffocating defence of Silverstream is really just pushing Rongotai College back.
But discipline again. I keep going back to that with Stream because there's manning on. They're making the defence very difficult for Rongotai. And certainly, look, we saw earlier on though with Rongotai, once they started to get that role, they're very physical at the breakdown, and Stream won't want them to have too much ball. So again, it's about getting up and what we've seen man on, and each of them making those tackles.
Yeah, absolutely correct, Guppy. But I think our strengths are just outside that edge there in the middle of the field. So it's that sideline to 15 metres. If we start stacking our forwards on that edge, we'll roll our big boys over. It'll be like rolling gorillas over monkeys, mate. They'll hammer them down there. Unfortunately, we're not getting in that position to do that while we lose possession of the ball. Great tackle.
That was an excellent tackle that time there by Taulongo. And that time Haruera could not hang on to the ball because that tackle was pretty much like a Tomahawk missile. And so Rongotai will have the scrum feed. Silverstream this season, when they played Wellington College here, their scrum was so dominant that the front row of Wellington College was almost flying to the moon. That is how powerful their scrum was, but they've been told to lower it down because of the metre-and-a-half push. What's your thoughts on that, Tui?
Well, today's game doesn't encourage strong scrummaging. I mean, especially in this grade here where I think the rule is 1.5 metres. So you're not going to see a 95-metre push all the way to the try line like an England or an Ireland would do. They want to see a flying game. They want to see ball in hand. They want people to, play the game. And that's a good steady scrum there from Rongotai. And basically what they want to see is just real gameplay. They're almost Guppy turning into league, I'd hate to say. You know what I mean?
The game's very much like, particularly as you get up to that next level. I mean, if you lived on a different planet for a while and came back, you'd be struggling to say because it's just fanning out across and one man taking the ball. So the game's got issues with the laws, and the laws need to be addressed. I mean, and particularly in that impact area, it's affecting the game worldwide, and so those laws need to be addressed urgently.
Yeah. First penalty of the afternoon for Rongotai. Offside is the call from referee Newson, a regular Premier referee here in the capital city. This is a big opportunity here for Rongotai College. As Tui has mentioned this, they have to cash in here. They really do need to use this opportunity very effectively. It's a line out on the western side of Silverstream, number one. One of the more picturesque places to come and watch sport any time of the year here at St. Pat's Silverstream. Great fields, great facilities, but it's been stolen. It's a good steal there, that time by Tavis Polglaze, who's missing his fellow line-out partner, Lennox Easthope, this afternoon. He's been ruled out with concussion. Advantage being played here for Silverstream. Player off their feet. Solomona looks to chip it over the top and knock it back. It's gone into the hands of Denya, but we're coming back for the penalty. And that time, a Rongotai player going off their feet. And so the penalty here for Silverstream, 4 metres inside their own half. And we're starting to see Emmanuel Solomona starting to dominate proceedings in the midfield. He really does like going for an offload, but sometimes he probably just does a bit too much of it, Wayne.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a big man, he's a powerful man, and he's got control of that midfield, there's no question. But it's certainly, the offload is occasionally he should set his ears back and go because they'll hang on to him. But he's such a, as I said, such a powerful man. Interesting, Rongotai in those early lineups have persisted with having only 4 men in that lineup. But if you're going to do that, you get some advantage. You need to be accurate in your throw-ins.
Yeah, well, I mean, like if you're going to have a 4-man line and it's a quick line out, it's got to be speed, and there's no point sitting there because obviously there's only maybe 1 or 2 options, mate. You got to fool them as much as you can in the lineouts. Unfortunately, we're just setting our set pieces too slow. We're taking our time just a way bit too long, and here they come down the middle again.
Patrick Solomona with a charge. They're 5 outside the 22. They pass it out wide into David Tokolatawa. It's a high technical advantage. So should be just a penalty just for that. Into the hands of Sinelli, and Silverstream look to rumble up forward. Still playing under a penalty advantage. And referee Newson a double blast of the whistle. And this might possibly be a yellow card. Not what Rongotai need. This might just simply be a warning. Just about high tackles.
Yeah, well, I mean, Guppy, like the high tackle now is what they're doing in under 15 is stern and below now. I mean, like, how low are we going to go nowadays? I mean, are we going to go kneecap below? I mean, like, where does it stop,
And the intent, look, and that tackle there was absolutely no intent at all from that young man. You can tell when there's intent, and he knew straight away what he had done, and there was no damage done to anyone. So let's get on with the game.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Good refereeing there by Steve Newson, just passing the message on. So Rongotai with a full complement of players still on the paddock, but they're not out of it yet. They've got to defend a line-out throw from Silverstream, roughly 8 away from their own try line at the northern end. And Toby Mallon really has grown in the hooker jersey. And Patrick Solomona actually started the season as the hooker for Silverstream, is now playing in the flanks. It's well taken there by Paul Glaze. It's a penalty as the ball has been brought down, and they've come outside to Emmanuel Solomona. Solomona wrestles via with an excellent tackle, slowing down the charge of Emmanuel Solomona. 6 away from the line, centre field are Silverstream. Pilfering at the back. They sense a third try. Rongotai swarm in like a pack of bees to slow down this advancement from Silverstream. Tuival with the ball. Doesn't gain any metres. Stern defence from Rongotai. Battle stations are on guard right now. Another penalty advantage against Rongotai. Silverstream wrestling through their forwards. Solomona. There's a man down for Rongotai. Is not looking too good. Solomona into Falaniko. Vincent Falaniko scores the third try for Silverstream. And Rongotai have now leaked 3 tries.
Well, what we saw then again is what we saw at the start of the game. It was very disciplined. Silverstream knew exactly what they wanted to do. They took the ball in the middle of the line out perfectly, moved to the middle of the field, used those big men in the midfield, and then the forwards, and big forwards got there quickly and took control. And it was a controlled discipline. They were going to pick and go. There was no question about that. And as they just kept sucking that Rongotai defence in, there was gaps further out, and obviously then it was quick ball, 2 passes, bang, unopposed.
Yeah, well, I mean, Guppy, Tony Phipps said it in our game, mate, we're just absorbing the tackles, mate. And when you keep absorbing, it's like a sponge, mate. You're going to run out of space. You're going to have to squeeze it out. And eventually we just got dried out, mismatched there, and he went clearly untouched to the line, mate. But again, I'll say it again, you've got to treat it as 0-0 again, so let's go Rongotai.
Ollie Cuff with his 3rd conversion attempt. His first one was successful. This one in a more comfortable position, just to the right of the northern posts. Strikes the ball and it goes through easy as you like. So the score now is 19 points to 0. And let's just have an update from Evans Bay Park in the semi-final between 2 versus 3. And the score there is 7 points to 5 to Wellington College over St. Pat's Town. And St. Pat's Town inside Wellington College is 22, but a boot from Solomon has kicked that ball back over halfway. So a big contest there at Evans Bay Park. And both those teams probably be beating each other up in this semi-final. But Silverstream here comfortably in front, but Rongotai with the restart. And they've gone for the short start this time, but unfortunately it has gone out on the full. And so it's going to be a scrum for Silverstream right on halfway.
That's what happens though when you're under a bit of pressure and 20 minutes into the game, And you know, look, they would have gone all season Rongotai and not made mistakes like that. But under the pressure now, thinking this is a semi-final, that some of them are probably thinking now that, you know, the big glory moment's gone, and they just got to put that out. Like Tui said, put it out of their mind, and, you know, go back and do. The kickoffs is a thing they've done and practiced hundreds and hundreds of times during the season, and probably never put it out like that. But the pressure on semi-finals rugby, that's what it does when you're down.
Yeah, absolutely, Guppy. And you know, they're running on low energy, and I think it just takes one of these X-factor players that they've got in their team to spark something up. A try will reignite the fire they've got in there. There's still an hour to go of football. I mean, they're not out of it yet, but they're acting like they are. I think they just need to pick up their game, settle down, and win the major battles, and that's how they'll stay in the game. I mean, we're up against the minor premiers, you know, and they'll be spewing after they lost to St. Pat's, the way they got treated against St. Pat's Town, and these guys will be coming out fight. We're just going to have to brunt the fire and just start making up real key decisions to win this game.
Successful scrum for Silverstream, and Jacob Denyer tackled, then reached the ball and had another go. Comes to the hands of Solomona again. Offload to Patalacio, out to CJ Hadawira, kicks it over the top into the 22. He's chasing after it, but Sila Valavai is back there. That's good recovery there by Rongotai College, and they're going to have the goal line dropout. And so with a near danger, they've gone for a short crossfield restart. That has worked out well. There was a bit of a hard-in-your-mouth moment there, but it worked well for Rongotai College. It's come out loose, and Mellon has come up trumps and stolen the ball. And Silverstream are in the 22. Rongotai back on defence. Flass with a charge. But the Rongotai defence holds them out for now. 21 minutes gone, 19-0 is the score here in this 1 versus 4 semi-final. Tuivau wrestled, offloads to Kershaw, and Kershaw wraps around that ball and secures it well. But it's a penalty. As an arriving player had come through the side, and that was Tavis Polglaze. And so a relieving penalty for Rongotai College.
But that's the breaks Rongotai need. Actually, the dropout from under the goal sticks. I mean, again, that was unorthodox, but it worked well for them. The winger took the ball well, and it was on, but they just didn't have numbers there. Stream actually was probably touch and go where the Silverstream player who retrieved the ball came in from offside.
Oh, he was offside. Guppy, come on, mate. Like, honestly, like, the ball was still on the ruck, and he came in from Lower Hutt to get that ball. I mean, but in all sense, the refs can't see, but we got 2 touch judges on the side. But Rongotai probably average about 1 phase, and then we lose it. St. Pat's are doing their 2 phases. Once they're in our red zone or whatever you want to call it, they're building up 4 phases to put pressure on, tighten the screws, and that's the difference with us. And here comes Rongotai.
Rongotai try to run it out, but they've knocked it on, and so Silverstream pounce again, and it's Mellon with the ball, drives it forward. That time there, good charge by Sinelli. Solomona out to Sinelli again. Sinelli breaks the first 2 tackles, charges forward, steamrolls over. Sino Sinelli scores the 4th try for Silverstream. And that was just a wrecking ball machine of Sino Sinelli storming forward. And so 3 tries in the Premiership this season for Sino Sinelli, and that was impressive.
It was impressive, but look, there was a lot of good work done before that, and it felt like good teams, they picked the pace up as they went to each phase, and the momentum got greater and greater and greater and more urgent, and that's what good teams do, and that's what we saw there particularly. And then it opened up for the big midfielders, but certainly, you know, there was a stealing of the ball, and then the forwards did what they had to do, but they built momentum at each step in each phase, which is, as I said, that is only what good teams can do.
Yeah, Guppy, I mean, we can see there the body language. It's got to pick up for Rongotai. They've got to believe that anything can happen between now and full time, and they've just got to carry on and just put it in the cupboard again. And like I'm saying this too many times, it's still 0-0 to me. And yeah, so they're just got to carry on, regroup, regather, reset the button, mate, because when they have the ball, they're making meters. It's just the support player's not there, and they've got to address this at half time or even now.
Well, the score might be 26 points to 0, but I remember back in 2015, St. Pat's Town came out here for a semi-final and were getting trounced at half-time and won in the second half, did St. Pat's Town. So really, there is an opportunity still for Rongotai to really capitalise and really, they might be down on the scoreboard 26-0, but there's an opportunity for them to really strike back as the restart comes, and it bounces right in front of Jacob Denyer. He passes it to the safe pair of hands of Emmanuel Solomona, and he fires that one to the other side of the earth. And Rongotai look for a quick throw, but it has been touched by a foreign object on the touchline, so it's going to be a line out just on halfway, the western side of the field for Rongotai College.
Like, it's not 97-0. It's they're only 3 tries up. They can still come back. They've just got to reorganise and start using their strengths and start playing to their strengths to the max. And once they start realising that, they will get in front. There's a good line out there, and they're just got to crash in the middle there. Use the big fella. Here he comes now.
Big fella charges forward. That is Meturiki. He's had a strong season. They need to speed it up, Rongotai, to try and get round this very fast defence of St. Pat's Silverstream. And that's a lot better that time by Rongotai College. They run straight into the tackle of Solomona. And that was excellent work by the Rongotai forward, securing over the top of the ball. Fatavai with the high kick. It bounces in the 22, awkwardly in front of Jacob Denyer. Please for a knock on. And Steve Newson doesn't need to go to Specsavers because he's seen that one. And here's an opportunity for Rongotai College. They're inside the 22. They have a scrum. And Silverstream have made a mistake. And Tui, what do they need to do here, Rongotai, with the scrum?
8 off, 9, 11, try. Or 14, sorry.
14.
Those things have never changed in the game. It's just the execution. The opposition even know it's going to happen. If you execute it properly, you can't stop it.
Mate, I don't understand, Brett. That is more open than the Pacific Ocean. They got to exploit that. They got the speed to do it, and if they do it now, they'll score.
Rongotai scrum. Silverstream look to twist it around. It's out the back with Gray. And Gray, the vice-captain, has been wrestled to ground by Connor Tuival. And it's a penalty. Connor Tuival has the penalty advantage, but they look to run it out to Patalacio. He's been tripped around the tackle, but he's still allowed to get back up. So ball still in possession. Advantage still being played for Silverstream. Cuff fires it back to Solomona. Solomona tries to run around the tackle of Gray, but Gray is too much of an impact to get around him. Falaniko spills the ball, but unfortunately there was a very long penalty advantage for holding on. Connor Tuival getting over the top of the ball, year 13 at the college. He's a volleyball rep. He was the College Sport Wellington Player of the Year for volleyball last year. Of course, you do have to be quite quick and dynamic on your feet, and that's why he's wearing the 7 jersey this afternoon, Wayne.
Well, that's always a difficult thing for young men that have talent in most sports. I mean, they get, particularly when they get up into this level of first 15 rugby, they tend to, put a bit of pressure on that they only play one game. But, those talented young men can be good at 2, 3, 4 sports, and they want to participate. They want to play in it, and sometimes it can affect, the coaches put pressure on them. But it's good to see that a young guy is as talented as him, being able to play his first 15 rugby, but also and play a game he obviously enjoys in volleyball.
But our sport is in trouble. Like, basketball's taking over. They want to start doing that. And the more players that come to rugby, the better it is for the game, And we've got to encourage our sport as much as the other sports are encouraging theirs. I have no problem with volleyball and basketball and all that, but this is our bread and butter. And without these games here, without the good people of live stream and all that, it could go somewhere else. But everyone's multi-sport now. It used to be just cricket and rugby, but now lawn bowls is coming into the picture. So I'd hate to see us lose the lawn bowls.
Well, I wouldn't mind. You've only got to look. I saw the top 10 sportsmen, and that affects. Young guys will be looking at the top 10 earners in world sport, and I think 7 of the 10 were NBA basketball, and I think there was 2 baseballers and a gridiron and a football player, and the 15 there was a footballer, one of the main soccer players. But gee, that's why they're all following that game, and it's live on TV most nights for them.
I don't know what's more bloody, politics or rugby, mate.
Line out throw from Silverstream was not straight, and so Rongotai got the scrum feed, but there's that example of that Silverstream forward pack, and they tap it quickly, and they kind of catch Rongotai off guard. Solomona breaks through. He's got Payers to burn on the side, skips around Denyer, but that time Tokolatawa couldn't reach for that one. They had to fire it into touch, and so Rongotai will have a line out back inside their 22, But as we just look on this replay here that we can see on our screen of the Silverstream scrum, and let's just watch it here. The ball comes in from for Avai, and they just simply swarm and smash Rongotai in that scrum. That was just powerful there, Tui.
I mean, like if you're a front row, mate, you'd be watching that 10 times over and over again, mate. Like it's probably, and Rongotai traditionally haven't been good scrummages, at our school. But I've always said, if you can't find a front row, make them. And we're getting good now. In our under 15Bs and under 15As, we've got 10 front rowers. Now I don't know whether it's a diet thing or they're just bloody doing weights, but I'm probably going to go with the former, the diet.
Avai with the kick into touch. And so Rongotai will have to defend a Silverstream line out. 15 metres inside their own half. Less than 5 minutes to go here in the first half. 26-0 is the score. One might say that it's been pretty dominant by Silverstream, but you've got to hand it to Rongotai. They haven't given up and they're really putting on a big fight. Here's just an update from Evans Bay Park in the other semi-final. Wellington College are ahead 12 points to 5, but St. Pat's Town have a scrum 5 out from Wellington College's try line. But heck, here to Silverstream, and Toby Mallon, his last throw was not straight, so this time looked to try and secure it, and he gives it into the safe pair of hands of Tuival. Ollie Cuff fires out to Patalasio. Patalasio has a run. He cut open. Gets around two Rongotai tacklers. Comes out to Solomona. He kicks it through. There it is. Harawira chasing after it. But Rongotai ground the ball. But we're coming back for a penalty. There's a penalty identified by referee Steve Newson. It appears we're coming all the way back. Now, this may be potentially for offside. No, it's another high tackle. But it must be just one of those ones that slipped up. So, options here for Silverstream. Do they just continue attacking away with a line out? Or are they going to have a shot at goal, Wayne? What would you do?
Well, they need to use their dominant scrum. I mean, from the point of view, no, they're going to go for the goal, for the kick, but they'd want to drive this because they haven't driven anything from a line out during the game, and you just need to. I think you just need to break it up a bit, and just most of the game they're getting good ball off the top, but certainly from the point of view of just breaking up, they're what are they 20 metres out, and with a pack that's been quite dominant, you'd want them just to bring that Rongotai defensive line in a bit, and then open it up again.
Well, the majority of and here comes a big, and it's a good sack. We're counter-attacking that. Not sure, there might have been the old truck and trailer there, but the majority of Silverstream tries are from our mistakes, which you're obviously going to get. And they're just creating opportunities from our mistakes. And they're like the IRD. If you make a mistake, you'll pay for it.
I made sure I paid my income tax this year. Rongotai get into the penalty from the truck and trailer, so they'll have the line out. Be 20 metres away from halfway. And a big opportunity here for Akuso Lolo, who scored the winning try against Wellington College. And what scenes they were. Samaralu got the try, and what excellent scenes those were. It's loose, it's untidy, and it's been kicked through by Silverstream. And they managed to slow down and secure the ball, but referee Newson, unfortunately, blows an end to proceedings, and so just a bit messy there with the passing from the line out there, Tui.
Yeah, just body language is down, the energy levels are down. I mean, we look like we've just played 80 minutes of football when there's only been half an hour of football, mate. I bet they can't wait till half time. Regather, hit the shade, just get the Red Bulls in years and just say, look, we might as well just throw the kitchen sink out there. We could be playing our last half of the season. We could be playing 3 more halves. It's all or nothing for Rongotai, and they're that kind of team that can come back. If you underestimate Rongotai, just all of a sudden put your B team on, they're going to pay it. They're going to pay you back with interest.
Yeah. Silverstream scrum at the back with Brandon Soy, and he travels forward towards the 22, and it's another penalty. And yet again, a Silverstream player not staying on his feet. And so that's the second time they've been paying for that. The penalty count, I believe, is pretty even, to be honest, there, Tui. I believe it is pretty even between both sides. It took really 10 minutes for the first penalty to be awarded in this match.
But what we're seeing from Silverstream is exactly what Tui talked about. Those penalties they're giving away now are the sort of things that allow Rongotai to get back into the game. And if they need to be, I thought, they started that first 20 minutes very disciplined, but giving those penalties away, you just can't afford it, because that gives the opposition a real opportunity, breaks up the game, and gives them a real opportunity to get back into this game.
I mean, Silverstream coach, sorry, I forgot his name. He won't be satisfied until the penalty count is down, because if that penalty count just keeps pumping up and down, there's going to be a team yellow card. They're down 14 men, you're 14 men only now, and they're just going to punish you. But Rongotai are not cashing in their penalties, and we've got to do it in order for us to play next week. We've got to cash in these penalties.
Rongotai with the ball, still trying to get out of their own half. Silverstream defence. Favov a better pass. A near charge down by Solomona, but that is kicked out on the full. All not going to plan for Rongotai at the moment. Now here's a score update from Evans Bay Park. It looks like that a town player has just been yellow carded. The score is 18 points to 5 to Wellington College. And they now have a penalty directly in front of the posts, and that will make it 21 points to 5. So Wellington College really just starting to get away on St. Pat's Town in the other semi-final. Back here, it's a line out for Silverstream. 5 metres outside the 22.
You think Bondi's throwing like the water bottles all up? I think Bondi will be kicking every chili bin in front of him, and he'll be throwing something.
He won't be a happy man, will Ross Bond. I can assure you of that, trailing on the score by that way.
It must be a Protestant referee in there.
I think it might be. Here we go, Solomona. Good tackle by Rongotai College, really getting around the ankles. A good drive by Patrick Solomona. Bounces off 2 tacklers, steamrolling his way through. Patrick Solomona scores for Silverstream. We saw Sino Sinelli bulldoze his way through, but Patrick Solomona, that was next level.
Yeah, well, you want those big men to run like that. I mean, you run hard, run strong, and be determined, and that's what Tui. That's exactly what they're there for, and minimise any mistakes. I mean, we saw for a period there, Solomona at centre, big strong man like him. He got a bit sloppy a couple of times, and the discipline he needs to learn that to keep perfection, because when he goes to the next level, you can't afford to be dominant like he is, and then sloppy pass. Offload poorly, but those big men, that's what you want. That gives you that go forward, and that gives what it does is gives the other 14 players, until he's been in teams like that, it gives everyone the confidence and lifts them when one or two of your big men really run with that power and speed.
Well, Guppy, that's why they're in the first 15. I mean, if you're 200, 400 kilo sumo wrestling, you're not even pulling your weight, you get cut. And then that's probably what they've said on the whiteboard. But, mate, out their silver lining there was that line speed from the backs, creating that pressure on them, on Silverstream backs, is exactly the kind of platform that they need to work on and carry on from that half. And I'm glad they're probably happy that the first half is over, and they just have to. And here we go again. I'm going to say it's 0-0 again.
Well, actually, look, and someone needs to tell Rongotai, if you start. I mean, if Silverstream have scored 30 odd points, you've only got to score one more, and more importantly, it only takes, even Tui and I could run the length of a rugby field in 12 to 14 seconds, and that's all it takes. And so they've got 35 minutes to do that 4 or 5 times, and they're back in the game.
So half-time here at St. Patrick's College Silverstream. It is the home side Silverstream ahead, 33 points to 0. We'll be back in less than 5 minutes for the second half. Welcome back to St. Patrick's College Silverstream. And the half-time score, 33 points to 0. Silverstream in total control of proceedings in the semi-final. And the other semi-final, the second half has just started, 20 points to 5 to Wellington College over St. Pat's Town. But Rongotai now playing to the north of Silverstream, number 1. Steve Newson just checking on both captains, and the second half is underway. And Vatavai gets play, and he kicks it straight down into Solomona in the 22. He decides to put a high kick into touch. And so it's going to be a line out to Rongotai College, pretty much just over halfway. Half-time, time for us to get waters. And gentlemen, Tui and the Mayor of Upper Hutt, Wayne Guppy, Rongotai, what do they need to do to really respond to this attack from Silverstream?
Well, basically, just do the opposite of what you did in the first half there. I mean, like, honestly, like, and here we go, we got a quick ball out, and we've just got to capitalise on these big ball runners and stay in the fight as we fight in the tackle. And then we've made good meters there, but we're still not on passing the advantage line. As long as we play fast and all that, we can still, well, I like to think we can still win the game.
No, absolutely. And again, that's what we said. It's about it. They need just to make sure that their set pieces are done. They don't need to be dominant in the scrum. They just need to make sure they clear the ball on the scrum and have good line-out possession.
Rongotai giving away a penalty, this time going off their feet. That's what Silverstream were doing a number of times in the first half. And so it's just been reversed on that occasion. Kick from Solomona. Been kicked into the 22. There'll be a line out for Silverstream on the Redwood touchline here at Silverstream, number 1 to the southern end.
Again, not a good start. We saw the knock on from our captain there in the first half, and then it's just we're back to square one again. But look, they've got to just again delete it and just throw the kitchen sink at it.
Taken by Paul Glaze, and they put the ball into quarantine and try and drive it, but Rongotai have got players there. And so Silverstream not going anywhere on this line-out drive at present. Cuff fires it out to Solomona at first receiver. Holding that ball with one hand, has been scragged to ground. This is a quick ball from Silverstream. Padalacio tries to skip and dance his way through. But Rongotai have managed to turn it over, and Gray has the ball. Excellent work by Rongotai and Pharrell Gray. And that's good meters earned there from the number 8, just outside their own 22. It's been fired back and kicked downfield over the top of Solomona. So him and Patalacio have to chase back just outside their own 22. Solomona wrestles, flicks the ball with one hand out to Patalacio. Patalacio, he's got Brandon Saw in support, but he's been wrapped up by goalie very quickly. 8 metres inside. This could be a potential turnover, but not to be. Mallon goes for a drive. Mallon cuts open. He charges towards the 22. Massive hit on Toby Mallon. He'll be seeing stars after that tackle. Tokolatawa wrestled to ground. Advantage being played. Mallon, he's built tough, and he's been back onto his feet. He's been wrapped up quickly again by goalie Sino Sinelli. Out to Patrick Solomona, looking to try and steamroll his way over the try line again. It comes out to Denya. Denya skips, gets round 2 tacklers, brought down by the 3rd. They're 8 away from the line. Brandon Soy, workhorse number 8, who's keeping going this afternoon. Rongotai player down and back play. Silverstream wrestling forward. They're sensing another try to open up the second half. They rumble over, but they're just going to be short of the chalk. And referee Newson has blown his whistle. And we're going to come back for the earlier penalty advantage. And that was probably one of the longest penalty advantages in mankind just played there. And that's a penalty for no clear release. And so, gentlemen, that went for probably a record amount of phases before we got that penalty.
It did, but I tell you, Silverstream are in danger, and someone needs to settle them down. They're in danger of just each of them trying to do a bit too much now. They're looking at the scoreboard. They look like there's a bit of comfort zone, but they need to be saying again, we need to be accurate. And 2 or 3 times players are doing things now that they wouldn't have done in that first half.
Yeah, Guppy, but like, and you're right and wrong. Like, they can chance their arm, they can afford to chance their arm. But in saying that, Rongotai can't chance their arm, and what they got to lose really, except for the game. But I think they can throw a bit of pride in that in their play, and they will throw some pride. So I think, I mean, after all, they are in the semi-final. They were here for a reason. They're here, and let's get on with it.
Silverstream line out, 5 away from the try line. Mellon into the hands of Connor Tuival, out to the back line. Soy passes out to Cuff. Midfield with Patalasio. Falaniko tries to cut through, but Vatlavai, the captain, does well, slowing down his charge. It comes out to Emmanuel Solomona, holding that ball with one arm again, lunges to the line like he's doing the triple jump. Comes out to Kershaw. Kershaw out to Patrick Solomona. Patrick Solomona goes over and scores his second try, and Silverstream extend their lead further.
What was good there, though, from a point of view from a forwards coach, what was good to see was out in the middle of the track, those big props, and executing the pass perfectly. Knew they had people outside them, but certainly there was, again, like we saw in that first half, there was determination and drive, and then when they stretched Rongotai, back we went. And again, I go back to watching those big props, and again, because normally, and particularly when Tui and I played, they would have just kept rumbling up. These guys saw there was overlap, saw there was numbers out wide, and executed it perfectly.
Guppy, I didn't think you were 40, mate. I don't think we played at the same time. So, though I am flattered. But you're right. We are on the back foot, basically. We are on the terrible back foot, and Rongotai have just got to stick in the game. And here comes the cavalry from Rongotai. They're bringing on 2 more players, and they probably do need a bit of injection there to just spark things up. And they will with these new guys, and then that's what they're here for. We've got big impact players on the bench, and we've got, and it's just really now, what have they got to lose? And I think, there's more questions, and there's hardly any answers from Rongotai at the moment. But, hey, they're still in it. I'm not going to say it. I'm cursing it.
The conversion unsuccessful by Ollie Cuff, so the score remains 38 points to 0 in favour of Silverstream. An update from the other semi-final. St. Pat's Town have struck back. Obviously, they must have been given a wake-up call by Ross Bond. 20 points to 12 is the score, but Stanley Solomon is lining up a penalty attempt, so that could extend the lead for Wellington College. Next Saturday, 20th of August, the first 15 final will be played at Jerry Collins Stadium at 4 o'clock as part of a triple header of rugby action. The Wellington Pride and the Wellington Lions playing also at Jerry Collins Stadium. So a great opportunity for these young men to play after 2 professional teams, and a good opportunity to really bring the rugby community together, because really the NPC has struggled to get the crowds in recent years.
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll get good crowds out there, and particularly, look, the women's game in New Zealand, the women's rugby game in New Zealand is probably the most successful part of rugby at the moment, and so to see them play first, then to see a number of the professional players playing for the Lions, and then of course because I'm telling you, we're watching out here now, and a number of these young men in a few years' time will be playing in that professional league. Yeah,
absolutely right. Though I do disagree with having a final before an NPC. I think college rugby on its own as an entity by itself should just have a weekend dedicated to, just a day from under 65 kilos all the way up to first 15. I think a good festival of finals rugby. But hey, it is what it is. They're going to have to play it probably 9 o'clock in the morning before anyone else plays and all that. So I'm pretty sure the lads are keen to wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning to get ready. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, that's what they're all here playing for. At the end of the day, a final could be at 9 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what they're here for. They want to be in that game.
It's hard enough for them to get to school in the morning.
It helps that you're a boarding school. I mean, half these kids play on their phone. I've always said, is there no alarm clock on your bloody phone?
Silverstream line out, 6 away from halfway. A penalty against Rongotai before. It's been a really consistent display. Sinelli with the jump at the line. Now, not every day do you see a prop jump at line out time. Cuff does really well, gets around 2, brought down by the third, offloads it back into touch, but it's been picked up by a Rongotai player. Excellent work under real pressure there by Rongotai College. And now they have to try and get the ball out of their own half. Jersey 18, Haifunga is on the field for Rongotai College. He's part of the Wellington under-16 trialists at the moment, and he started against Silverstream in round 6. Patalasio, good, getting a rather difficult kick. tries to regather the ball. An advantage has been played now for Silverstream. Solomona cuts open, looks to offload it, finds Toby Mellon. Mellon kicks it through, and it's been rocketed over the dead ball line. But there's referee Newson coming back for the advantage. It looks like it might actually be over. So that time there, let's just await Steve Newson.
Guppy, I wanted to ask you something. Silverstream, there was a period maybe in the mid-90s, they were down. But all of a sudden in the last 15 years, their rugby program has just gone up and they're consistent finalists and all that. What is that a credit to?
Well, I think they've had a good number of coaching right through, and they bring and if you look at where their depths come from, exactly what you're doing now in the last couple of years at Rongotai is that they've built their depth through that talent and brought them through, and they've never been in the position of, and like Rongotai, never been in that position where they've brought players in to play in the first 15. They're young men that started at the school, they developed them at the school, and they all aspired to play in this first 15. And they're proud of playing for their school, and that's a huge that has a huge impact on a first 15 program.
Well, I mean, I think there's been a time where Rongotai, I mean, to their credit, they've never dropped out of the Division 1. You know, they've always stuck in there. But, you know, and I think, you know, we've gone from the glory years, but I think now that the spirit of Rongotai rugby is always going to be there.
And it's a break here by Patalesio. Passing it through to Jacob Denya. That is special magic by Silverstream. And Jacob Denya came back against St. Pat's Town 3 weeks ago from injuries. Last game playing at fullback was against New Plymouth Boys. And he scored his third try in the Premiership this season and extends the lead for Silverstream. And that was impressive play, in particular by the first five, Winitana Patalesio, who really set that up and created some special magic there, Wayne.
Yeah, and look, if you analyse a game, if you want to see how to play the game properly, particularly on counter-attack, we had two young men who were prepared from the back to counter quick and fast, and then all we saw was numbers backing up. And the timing of the pass. So that's how you play the game and view it on TV, because, again, once those initial breaks are made, it's about getting numbers around the ball, numbers inside and outside, and the options are there for the ball carrier, and that's exactly what we saw with the Silverstream attack. The other thing is that both of those young men had gas. And when you've got gas out wide and you've made those initial breaks, that's very hard to defend.
I mean, like, I think it's safe to say they're probably the complete team of this game as well. And right now, Rongotai have they've got to throw. I'm using every cliche about gambling. You've got to throw the dice, you know, have a dig, and then we'll just go from there. I mean, there's still, what is there, maybe 20 minutes to go. I mean, nothing's over until, you know, full-time whistle. So, you know, but, you know, I don't want to, you know, I won't put the nail in the coffin, but I think, you know, to everyone in the Rongotai rugby program, you know, with me and Albert Bryson Town, I think to come here to a semi-final, we haven't been here since 2019. You know, it's been a great achievement and all that, and probably, and I don't want to say it now, but the highlight of the year, hopefully it'll be today, but like, but the highlight of the year was beating Wellington College. You know, a rugby giant like that, probably in the nation, it was a great victory. It lifted the school spirits, and I think Rongotai rugby now is in good health.
Score update from Evans Bay Park. 20 points to 17. St. Pat's Town have scored a converted try and are clawing their way back. 20 points to 17 in the other semi-final. So St. Pat's Town chasing back against Wellington College. Here we go. Pharrell Gray, good run. He's never given up this afternoon, has Pharrell Gray. He's a real workhorse. But unfortunately, his support player, Tuma'ai, was caught off his feet by referee Newsom. Solomona tries for the quick tap, but there's got to be a yellow card here, and unfortunately that was just due to not being back 10, and unfortunately that's just rubs more salt into the wounds for Rongotai College. They just didn't really need to have that yellow card at this certain part of the game.
Well, it makes it hard. It makes it very hard when you've got a team now that's quite not just dominant, but confident, and you can see they're loosening up a wee bit, but you've got a confident side, and a confident side with the skills that Silverstream have got at the moment. When you're one man down, it makes it a long 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, Guppy, their midfield's holding the ball with one hand. I mean, like, that's how much confidence they've grown in there, and they're toying with us really. But at the end, they can afford to do that. They probably would do it at 5-0.
So penalty here for Rongotai College, 12 metres inside their own territory, and the kick that time by Vi didn't quite get the distance that he wanted. But they're going to have a line out, roughly 2 metres inside Silverstream's half on the Redwood Hostel touchline here at Silverstream number 1. 43-0 is the score. 14 and a half minutes gone here in the second half.
Funnily enough, though, Brad, you play better with 14 men for some reason. It just, I don't know. You're like a cornered snake. You just start biting when something gets. I don't know. They might score.
Well, before the All Blacks slump, they used to play well, but Toby Mellon, he's had a good run, but he hasn't got his support players there, but they get there just in time. Tuival there to secure the ball. It comes out to Sinelli. He goes for a charge. Mellon slowly getting back to his feet, and it's another penalty, this time for Rongotai. Holding on is the call, and that is excellent work there. That appears to be Aaron Golan that might have got that turnover there, the small whipper-sapper halfback, the reserve halfback that's come on. That's excellent work by the little man there.
One of the things that teams have to learn, and Silverstream here is a good example of that. That when a team's down a man, then it's if you got to work not to give penalties away because you've got a distinct advantage. There's overlaps in that field somewhere when 15 plays 14. And the area of the game you must concentrate on, and we see it a lot of times, and particularly at provincial rugby, where teams get players get a yellow card, and they give away 3 or 4 penalties and nullify the 10-minute advantage they've had.
Score update from Evans Bay Park. It's now a 1-point lead for Wellington College, 20 points to 19. Evans Bay Park has been a happy hunting ground for St. Pat's Town this season. Good steal at the line out by Tavis Polglaze into the hands of Cuff. It's now with Solomona. He fires out to Sinelli. Sinelli centre field surveys his options. It's a loose ball but picked up by Patalasio. He's had a strong game at the fly half position. Here's Wititana Patalasio. Really has put on his dancing shoes this afternoon. Sinelli again rumbles forward. Good defence, slowing down his charge. Kershaw. Polglaze. It's a break open by Denya. He's got one to beat. Denya, he's been chased down. He's been brought down on the 22 and he's lost the ball. That is excellent work there that time by Va'atui. That is great defence. He managed to slow down the run from Denya, but that tackle was a try-saving tackle. And that's the inspiration that Rongotai College need as Silverstream makes some replacements.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, those kind. I mean, they're still. They haven't laid down flat and just let Silverstream. I mean, they are trying. I mean, no one wakes up in the morning there, Brad, and say, "Well, we're going to just lose," and all that. Looks like St. Pat's are up, and I was just going to tell Guppy here, mate. It's kind of like with the current first 15 coaching staff that you see all over Wellington. It's still good to see characters like Bondi in the mix. He's a bit of the old guard, and I'm still disappointed he's coaching St. Pat's because he's an old boy, Rongotai. But they're still valuable to the game to see guys like Bondi and all them, Tim Mannix all over the field and all that. So it's still great to have them in the game. But there are some great young coaches coming up, and I think, what's a young coach now, 25? Well, they're retiring 21.
The current coach of the Wellington B Centurions team is only age 29, and that's Kent Harris. And he's a product of Silverstream, who had to end his rugby career in his sixth form due to too many concussions and decided to go down the rugby path. And he's been coaching Hello Boys Marist for probably the last 5 years.
His grandfather was the longest-serving chairman of the Wellington Rugby Union, Graham Aiken.
Graham Aiken. So, of course, the Wellington B Centurions were playing Whanganui today up there in Whanganui itself. Of course, that ground is also where Peter Snell teamed a pretty impressive mile on the track there at Cook's Gardens. Silverstream scrum. For the first time this afternoon, we've had a reset. You don't see those. Now, this is one area of the game. I want to have your thoughts on this. There's this new ruling that, I don't know if it will happen here, but if there's a free kick given, there has to be a scrum, but it has to be uncontested. What's your thoughts on that? Because I just think it's just another area that's just slowing down our scrums and making them a bit weaker.
Absolutely, and again, really nullifying the scrum. And look, you talk about technique, you talk about safety. The only way that, because these young men go through to the next level as they step through, you've got to have periods of where you are having scrummaging, because you learn by that contested scrummaging. And when they're playing at this level, look, they're all men, they're young men.
Here's another break, this time by the reserve winger. That is Zion Van Ristenroy, who has come on to the paddock. What a good work by him, a good sprinter. Cap number 1,148, and what an impressive try. And so Silverstream approach 50.
Well, again, it was a set. I mean, the whole thing come from the good set piece, from the scrum, and then again, guys running onto the ball and offloading. I mean, that's the one thing Silverstream have not fallen into today. As the score crept up, we haven't had too many trying to be heroes. They're still playing to that pattern. Draw, pass, and again with that gas. So, the discipline's there. They're now looking to go to the final, and you're wanting to not deviate from things that you're going to do next week.
You've got to also remember too, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Guppy, are the majority of these kids from that drawn final last year? I mean, like how many? I mean, this is an experienced campaign team. Rongotai's team right now, they're probably just, there's a few, I don't even know, what do we call them, fifth formers in there? So there's a bit of a mix and match. I think there's a few prefects in there, mate. They're a young team. They'll learn off this. That they need to learn off this, because you can't win everything. There's no more participation awards at first 15 level. This is what they're here for. They'll learn. They'll get better with a program that's implemented at Rongotai, mate. This can only be good for them. Right now, it's just not their day.
Conversion unsuccessful by Emmanuel Solomona, so the score remains 48 points to 0. And speaking to your question there, Tui, about the Silverstream side, roughly about half the team is back from last year in that drawn final. The other half have mostly come from the second 15, and of course that second 15 has won the competition last year, and so they tend to have a good system here, and that's what Tim Mannix, who's the director of rugby here at Silverstream now, is trying to really just cement as a good development program for having these players come through and to build up further. Here goes Connor Vlas charging down this left-hand touchline. Passes infield to Sinelli. What a great pass from Vlas. But he's been swarmed down by the Rongotai defence, and it's a penalty. There's another Silverstream player that time. It appeared to be Jackson Mendoza that has come through the side, but that was another opportunity. It's about the third or fourth time this afternoon that Silverstream have been penalised for that side offence there.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the part of the game I don't get. So you can blow someone out, tackle them onto the ground, and then if you're off your feet, if you're blowing the ruck out, you're always going to be off your feet,
So Rongotai with the ball, 12 away from halfway. Tried to securing Golan. It's a low errand pass, but it's wrapped up by Connor Vlas, the workhorse who's been playing nearly everywhere in this forward pack in 2022. Tau Ipu rambling forward. And Sela Vai has just been swarmed around by the Silverstream defence, but it's another penalty. That time there, not rolling away as the call for Emmanuel Solomona. Rongotai, well, they're having a dig. They're going to have a go. And this is what they're just going to do. They're just going to try and get some spring back into their game. They're trailing 48-0, but they definitely need to get some points on the board, just with some confidence as well. Golan surveys, gives the ball out to Fretton. And Fretton has been brought down to centre field, 10 away from their own 22. It's a slow, grinding process. They try to stretch it out wide to catch Silverstream napping. This is a good run, but the defence from Silverstream is quickly swarm around there like a pack of bees. Slow coming, but it's another penalty, another Silverstream player going off their feet. And this here is just one of those little things you were talking about before, Tui.
Yeah, Brad, I mean, it's a typical part of a game where the score's getting blown out, and then the team in the league just start getting penalties. And it's whether, I don't know whether they've got their under 15 players on, they don't know the rules or something like that. But it's been like that since when Bella's picked up the ball. What do you reckon, Gub?
Yeah, it does, invariably it does happen like that. But again, it's that losing that discipline. Here's another one, and that's not what Silverstream will want, and they won't want to be doing that next week.
Especially next week, because at the moment, big massive hit that time by one of the Silverstream players. They're tough players, But at the moment, it is Wellington College ahead of St. Pat's Town, 22 points to 19. Another penalty has extended the lead for Wellington College. Out wide they go, Rongotai. They wrestle forward towards halfway. They're slow coming. Golan fires out to Vatavai, looks to cut them open, but Solomona scrags him down. And it's another penalty, another side entry penalty against Silverstream. Rongotai enjoying a wealth of possession and a wealth of penalties at the moment. And now they finally wrestle over halfway. Over the top of the ball was Polglaze, but another penalty. And referee Snewson has allowed Golan to tap and go. This is a great run by Aaron Golan. Much needed motivation for Rongotai College. Silverstream trying to contest, and they've got the ball. Preston Maraku kicks it downfield past the 10-metre mark. Chasing back after it is Marquisi. And Marquisi gets around the tackle of Maraku. He's centre field and slammed to the chalk. And this is slow coming, so Rongotai now have to come back to their own 10-metre mark and start again. A good charge. Wrestling forward, but the ball has come loose. And the game at the moment is just starting to get a little bit messy. Here goes Harry Owers. Goes for a wild offload, but it can't be picked up by Mendoza. And Harry Owers there that time tried to go through, and now we're finally having a bit of a break here with players dropping down. But in that period of time, there was roughly maybe about 3 or 4 minutes. There were 5 penalties that time.
Brad, how long was that yellow card? It looked like it went for 10 or 20 minutes or something like that. And he's just come on now, I'm not sure.
It was a long period of time for that yellow card. And he's just coming back onto the field now. So with roughly less than about 10 minutes to go in this semi-final, Silverstream have booked their ticket to Jerry Collins Stadium next Saturday. But it's been a good fight by Rongotai College. You can't underestimate how much they've tried and fought. It may not be reflecting that on the scoreboard, but the one good thing is that they haven't given up. Another big, powerful scrum by Silverstream. They have to hold as the hold call comes. Out they go, Rongotai. Gray. Now, he is just a real inspiration, is Pharrell Gray. It really has just been working hard for Rongotai all afternoon, Tui.
And it's a typical Rongotai strength that, you know, there are tremendous Lucies that come from that side of town. From Severe, even the coach, Fali Sevi, he was a great player back in his day, you know, and it's just, it's either players that played in junior level playing centre have become flankers because there's just too many of them, and that's, I can't explain. It's just one of those things, and probably Wellington in general, Guppy, have always had world class Lucies, you know, from Philo Tiatia to even like the Waldrons and all that, but you know, we just don't have front rows that can compete in Wellington. I'm not sure what's going on. Canterbury have all of them.
Well, again, it was interesting because since the days of those front row schools that LMU used to run, when we had a succession of top quality props, that seems to have dropped off, and as a consequence, we struggle in that tight front division. But you know, we saw out here again that last 15 minutes. That's been the best period of play for Rongotai,
but Guppy, I can't understand why, like, you know, there are some good front rows all over Wellington, and yet we just can't compete in that next level when it comes to, like, when was our last All Black prop, you know, apart from Lomax, you know, since Namir and all them, there's a big break, you know, and we don't produce that front row machine like South Africans do and the Irish, but yeah, I think it's a big part of the game in Wellington we need to keep and cherish.
Well, it's pretty simple because you can't win a game without those big boys, and we're seeing that now in Africa. We're seeing it right in front of us in the last couple of weeks in Africa.
Yep. And of course, also the Wellington Lions have got to play Canterbury down there, and of course, sorry they had more insult to the roads, but
we can win those games. Well, Wellington, like I remember 2 years ago, we smashed them 56-0, and then I don't know.
Yeah, well, our front row in the Lions is pretty weak, but we have got some pretty talented players all around the paddock. They will miss the services of Duplessis Karifi tonight, who's nursing a bit of an ankle sprain from last week's win against Bay of Plenty.
Well, I'm surprised he played after that Jubilee Cup final. I'm like after that, and he's told to go to Lions.
But don't underestimate the young man that's replaced him tonight.
Yeah.
Good penalty here for Silverstream over the top of the ball. And so, good relieving penalty. Let's have an update from Evans Bay Park. 22 points to 19, and it looked like Wellington College tried to go into the corner there, but bundled into touch. So Wellington College still ahead, 22 points to 19 over St. Pat's Town. Emmanuel Solomona kicks this ball just outside the 22 here on the Redwood Boarding House touchline. St. Pat's Silverstream this season coached by Mitchell Forbes and John Herbert, who last year were assistants to Tim Mannix, with Tim Mannix taking the director of rugby role. These two have stepped up. They've taken this team to another level, particularly in the forwards.
And those are some big shoes to fill, isn't it, Guppy? Like, you know, I mean, you've seen now with Foster, he's got to fill in Hanson's shoes, and he's not quite up to the mark yet, you know, and I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think he's in a bad timing and all that. I mean, everyone's saying on the internet there he's a bad coach. I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think Plumtree was a bad coach either. I think he's a great coach. It's just things just don't work. Everyone has a slump. The Carpenters did. Yeah. So, everyone, you know, Elton John had a slump. We all have slumps in our life. I just think, I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow morning in the rugby. But, yeah, great coaching staff, and he's stepped up to the mark. And there we go again.
Sino Sinelli scores his second try. And Silverstream have cracked 50. And with less than 5 to go, and Silverstream have really shown their dominant performance this afternoon, Wayne.
And it's a performance that as coach, you'd be pleased about leading into a final, because there's no question what will happen now is that they'll go in as the favourites and a dominant favourite, regardless of who wins that other semi-final. But the one area that they'd be a bit disappointed in would probably be the last 10 or 15 minutes, where they've given away too many penalties and they've lost a little bit of their structure, and that would be one concern they'd be concentrating on. You know, they've given probably away in the last 15 minutes probably 6 or 7 penalties, and going into next week, you know, 6 or 7 penalties like that will cost you a final.
Yeah, well, I mean, Guppy, I mean, you'd be, I mean, if Stevie Wonder was coaching this team, who heard the score, I'd be clutching at straws what their weaknesses was. But you're right, there's always room for improvement. I mean, if you scored 58 against, 50 or whatever the score is, then next week your goal is to score 100. I mean, that's the perfect game. But you're right, these semi-finals where you're in control of the game, you're in control of the scoreboard, this is the perfect setup for Silverstream to take on whoever's they're going to take on. The semi-finals I hate are the ones that, you know, it's 3-0 at full time. And, like, you know, tight games like that give me a tight chest. So, you know.
So with roughly about 4 minutes to go, the score now is 55 points to 0. The conversion successful by Emmanuel Solomona, and with Rongotai with the restart, and with roughly about the same time left in the other semi-final, the score is still 22 points to 19. Wellington College ahead of St. Pat's Town. Tuivau gets the ball and fires it back to Solomona inside the 22. He thinks about having a kick but goes for a run, tries to get round Tauipu, and that time he showed Emmanuel Solomona how to tackle. But it's a penalty here. Another Silverstream player through the side again. Another one of those penalties there.
And probably at this time of the game, you just give everyone a run now. You know, everyone's a great player, but you want to keep your X factors on the bench, ice them up, you know, get the cold beers, you know, and have the sandwiches ready, really. So, you know, that's probably preservation time now for Silverstream, mate.
Rongotai College with a rare opportunity inside Silverstream's 22. Can they finish this match with a try or points on the board? There's another advantage being played. Gray, driven, but still on his feet. He's a hard man to bring down. And their centre field, 5 metres inside Silverstream's 22. A charge here by Akuso. And there's a Rongotai player down just in back play. And that appears to be, might be Pharrell Gray. Understandably why he might be starting to cramp up, because he's been a workhorse all afternoon. And it's a double blast of the whistle. And I think we've probably got to see a Silverstream player nearly going to the bin. Connor Tuivau appears to have taken over the captaincy for the later part of this match that is remaining. So general warning has been given to Silverstream. And that will be an important part. Another update. And it looks like St. Pat's Town have got themselves a scrum just outside Wellington College's try line. Still 22 points to 18 in that semi-final. Good work here by Silverstream, and they've managed to get the turnover. Excellent work as full-timers are only roughly about 2 minutes away. Solomona, centre field, stretches it in front of Falaniko. And he's got the ball back himself. That's some good interchange play. He decides to kick it infield over halfway. It's been picked up there by Vatavai. Runs into Wiratana Padalosio. And he's been brought down a metre inside Silverstream's territory. Another penalty advantage, not rolling away this time. Denya with a big hit. An advantage is still being played. And this Silverstream team are still contesting. Silverstream holding out Rongotai, but Rongotai contesting very vigorously. Connor Tuival appears to finally succumb to cramp as the medic has run onto the field. And it's another penalty as this game just starts to lose its shape.
I mean, Brad, these are the kind of games, mate, if one of your players is pulling silly crap like, just no arms and tackle, gets yelled at, mate, you got to have a word with him, mate. And this is like you're in the car going to the grand final. The last thing you need is facing judiciary, whoever that may be on the board, So, it's time to curb it, basically, Rongotai's just got to start the car and shake everyone's hands and their supporters.
St. Pat's Town are directly in front of Wellington College's posts. 23 points to 19. And full time is almost up there in that game. They definitely need to score, St. Pat's Town. But it looks like they may have lost the ball. And so Wellington College have survived. Back here, Rongotai College try to stretch it out. Here's a good run. This time Kershaw has a run. He's just short of the chalk of halfway. A good tackle there. Slow coming. Preston Manaku goes for the box kick. But no one chasing after it into the hands of Vatavai. Vlas can't get the tackle. Tuival stretches down on the ground again. Rongotai not giving up. They still sense they can get a try in this match. Centre field, as another Rongotai player is down. And centre field not looking too well. That is Pharrell Gray. Big tackle just pulled there. And Silverstream having to defend quite rigorously here. But Rongotai aren't giving up. They're just still fighting. Pharrell Gray back on his feet. Rongotai stretch it right, but they've knocked the ball on. Knock on is the call. And that is full time here at St. Pat's Silverstream. And it is the home team that have booked their place in the final for 2022. They will go out to Jerry Collins Stadium next Saturday at 4 o'clock. 55-0 is the full-time score. But, gentlemen, despite the scoreline, Rongotai can be pretty proud of their efforts.
No question about it, and as the game wore on, I mean, I thought they played better. They were in the game, but really, what it was in the end was set piece was good from Stream, and they had some of those big, powerful men that were making those line breaks and backing up. But certainly, look, as Tui said before, this Rongotai team will be a different proposition next year. And we all know that you learn from losses, and it'll be difficult to be telling them that tonight. But this time next year, they'll look back on that and know and understand it clearly. Yeah,
Silverstream was just cutthroat, clinical at everything they did. They didn't let up in defence, which showed on the scoreboard there. They kept us at 0. And Rongotai shouldn't be disappointed. They shouldn't be disgraced by that effort because they tried their heart out. At the end of the day, there's always going to be a winner and loser, and today was the blue and white of Silverstream. Rongotai have got, basically, they're just got to regroup, congratulate all their supporters and good sport and all that, and just thank all the coaches. And it's, I think, to me, it's been a good year. They've lifted the spirit of the school after that victory. I keep going on about the scarf game, but they've lifted the spirits in their school, and I think the future's looking bright.
Many thanks to Tui and Wayne for their comments in this match. It's been a pleasure bringing you this semi-final, and we'll be back next Saturday for the final out at Jerry Collins Stadium here on Huddy Sports. We know that Silverstream's in here, but we're just waiting to see. There's a big discussion between the officials on probably an aspect of foul play in the other semi-final, 23 points to 19. But it's been a pleasure bringing you this semi-final this afternoon. Silverstream, your victors, 55 points to 0. I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.